Another ESO build video, except this is the Magsorc. I've run this and gotten through several trials and felt like I've carried a couple of people, but that's aside from the point. It's a game, it's fun, especially seeing all those really large numbers. First, start off with the gear, because that is the hardest stuff to get. The spinners, flame staff, and lightning staff. It doesn't matter which one's the main and which one's the off. I personally like Alambras. Undaunted, definitely get Undaunted. You'll be wearing 5 light. The flame and lightning is personal for me. You can use Kina, Doma House, the hell, Earth Gore if you need the survival. As personal choice, I've gotten the best numbers from Alambras and dual procking on a lightning staff with flame, because the AoE damage from the lightning staff. And, you want Julianos gear. It can be made in Rothgar. It is a 6 trait set. It is very reliable, as a lot of critical. The other thing that you could use is Mother's Sorrow. There's also Spider's Cultist that you can use as a 5-piece set. This is my solo Sorc. So spinners, you may be over-penetrating if you're in an ideal group, so you can switch that set out much easier than Julianos. That's the basic gear. Potions, trash pots are what I'm using. Tri-stat food, because the stamina is useful, and same with the max health. I don't care about any kind of recovery. As far as the enchantments, all Maxima Magica, all Divines. You can experiment with infused and triune stats. If you run an Argonian, that would be even better. I'm running an Altmar with this one, and flame resistance and magica recovery. Health and stamina recovery don't really matter. Magical recovery does. And the flame resistance, because we are a stage 4 vampire, and this is a solo build for just pugging random situations and jumping into anything and being able to relatively survive. Now the skills. Here's where some variables are possible. Bound Aegis, Power Surge, Blockade of Storms, Haunting Curse, Liquid Lightning, Precognition, Psijic Ulti. You want a Psijic skill on both bars. For the passives, I'll get into that in a minute. Flame Bar. Inner Light for the spell critical, channeled acceleration because it increases, it's nice. You can switch this out with Boundless Storm if you don't have Psijic. Crushing Shock, that's the spammable. Mage's Wrath, that's the execute. Absolutely lethal PvP. Crystal Frags, only use this when it is not a hard cast. You can see it when it comes up. There it is. Crystal glow around your hands, be sure to use it. It does 35% more damage, and it is less magicka. Get the passives that pertain to you. Like, I don't have a pet, so I don't need rebate. But I just got a bunch of skills because I like doing that. Get all your passives in the Destro staff, don't use a Frost staff, so that's no problem. And get all your light armor, all the armor passives that apply to you. Min-maxing is min-maxing, so it's not really necessary. I swear by Soul Summons and Soul Lock. These 2 passives in here in the game have been the standard for all of my characters. Vampire Stage 4, the only thing we use is Elusive Mist. That's to get to Stage 4 if we're not, because of Witch Mothers, and get all the passives. They're very useful, many YouTube videos on them. And like I mentioned, get the passives that apply to you. For me, they were all the Mages Guild, as well as the Psijic. This is a near broken skill line. Because spell charges, if you can proc that right with Mend Wounds and Imbue Weapon, are absolutely lethal. Concentrated Barrier, when you have a Psijic slot or a Psijic skill slotted and you block, you get a 5k shield, 2500 in Cyrodiil, but that shield is useful for block casting. Can't cast acceleration. There we go. And it's meant for like Sanctum Ophidia or just extra tankiness. And if you need a lot more tankiness, stay on your lightning bar and spam this. The shield will come back every 10 seconds, and you can block 20% with this. And it's meant for block mitigation. That covers the skills. Like I mentioned, get all the passives that apply to you, especially your racial passives, because, well, you are your race, right? Argonian, get broken heals from the recovery of potions. Altmer, get nice damage. Dunmer, flame, so you can increase how much flame damage you're doing instead of, in my case, general buff to damage. That's because you will be spamming the lightning, or the shock right here, the destructive clench. Crushing shock, it can be switched out for destructive clench if you use a power attack build. And this build does have resource mitigation issues, so you will be power attacking to get resources back, which leads me next into the champion points. It's nice to break free. Bashing is because we get the shield bonus, and I off tank. You want to get at least 10% back from here. Magic recovery is useful for me, and I off tank. Roll dodging. I put this at 19% because I like to be able to roll dodge multiple times. It's real useful. Instead of just the normal 3 or something, get close to 4. And blocking, that is always useful. Now the blue tree, where it's most important. Healing done because crit surge will heal for more if you put into this. Same with the crit healing from crit surge. And like, say you have a resto staff and you slot healing springs, this will increase how much damage that does. I like to do flat increases instead of penetration because light armor and spinners, so this is probably way over penetrating. So you can knock some out of there and put it into elemental expert or staff expert. Direct damage, not a lot of direct damage, but enough to put into here, and you can definitely easily pull out of spell erosion and dump it into there. Get that all the way up to like 50-51, and get the butcher passive. No, it wouldn't be for the tactician. And thaumaturge can go all the way to exploiter if you want. I haven't found it as very useful since they increased the off balance in the overall damage and resources gained from heavy attacking. So this is a small percent on a even smaller percent increase. Min-maxing is min-maxing if you want to get it. Ironclad, you will be taking a lot of direct damage attacks. This, I don't know what I was doing. And critical resistance, you want to get this tree up to 75. It's only 1% of your health, but with how much critical damage there is done in the game, it's nice to offset it and mitigate it in a subtle way. Same with spell absorption. It's kind of nice. Those one-shot mechanics aren't so one-shot with this. Flat resistances, because that is what helped me survive in the game. Trials are very specific. You may need to talk with your trial leader to know more about that. Expert defender, because light attacks went up. You definitely want something in here. I usually go to at least here, because magic recovery for a mag DPS that died in a trial needs their magicka back. You can go up to this, but that would be if you're a healer and then you want to put it into here and quick recovery instead of expert defender. And that brings us full circle with that. That was gear, skills, and the update on the build for the intermediate Sorc, now the Master Sorc. Because it is based in the Psijic skill line, and if you ground out that skill line and you're watching this video, then you know that it was a pain in the ass. But so worth it. This is very useful, a lot of fun. You can switch this Haunting Curse out for Empowered Ward if you need some survival. But otherwise, everything else is ideal. I like to run a little extra DPS here and give the healer something to do, so I put Haunting Curse. You know, because why run into a random dungeon with a healer, tank, and 2 DPS, and the tank survives, the DPS keeps themselves alive, and the healer doesn't know what to do. So give the healer something to do. Run a little risky build. It's fun. It's a game after all, so we should be nice to each other and have fun with this game. Thank you, this is my Magsorc build, and I hope that it helps your gameplay. If not, there are so many build videos on ESO, and every one of them still viable except for like a bunch of gank blades or gank things. Have fun with the game, get 5 for your sets, get full sets, and be nice to each other. I mean, we're not all toxic. Come on.